two-finger service and feel their pulse. Frank, what is the most important organ in your opinion?
The heart.
Why do you think so?
I think the heart just beats so many times. It's important.
The heart is the hardest working organ we have and beats over 1.5 billion times in your lifetime. Did you know that every year 50% of deaths occur because of heart disease and cardiovascular disease? Michael, how many people do you think die every year because of heart attacks?
50,000.
Close. But every year, 720,000 people die from heart attacks. Also, every year, 380,000 people die from coronary heart disease. Many people think that most of deaths that occur are people who are in middle class or lower class families. However, most of the deaths actually occur in people in more affluence. This leads me to my original work. In my original work, I had a hypothesis. I conducted a survey asking students about their affluence and their daily diet. And my hypothesis was individuals who have high affluence tend to have a worse cardiovascular health compared to individuals with a moderate affluence, with people who have low affluence have the worst cardiovascular health. I composed a survey and sent it to my fellow ISM students to complete it. I received a total of 30 responses of a variety of people with different races and different genders. And the questions I asked, questions 1 to 4 and questions 8 to 18 pertain to a student's family and their health, and questions 4 to 7 pertain to a family's affluence. For my results, I got 44% people who were moderately affluent, and with 56% people who were highly affluent. For my results, I found that 56% of the 56% of people who are highly affluent, 60% of them have family members who had cardiovascular diseases in the past 5 years. Of the people who are 44% moderately affluent, 17% of them had cardiovascular diseases. Why is this so? This is because people who with higher affluence tend to work much harder and tend to have not enough time in their lives to keep care of their heart health. However, people who have moderate affluence have the same amount of diet and foods as people with high affluence. How I conducted a survey is people in Collin County generally have a TV, a car, and a house above 2,000 square foot are considered to be moderately affluent. People with houses that are 3,000 square foot with with over 3 cars are counted to be highly affluent people. And during my survey, I asked students about their family's heart health and if their family members had any cardiovascular diseases within the past 5 years. And from my responses is that I found that people who tend to be higher affluent had more cardiovascular diseases compared to people with a moderate affluence. The only problem in my survey is that I could not find people who were lowly affluent because the Frisco and Collin County area tend to be much more affluent outside areas. I found from my survey that individuals with higher affluence tend to have a lower heart health because they took much more time to work and not properly take care of their health. And from that, I devised a theory and application that I could possibly use for my final presentation. For the application I wanted to use is an app that not only takes into account your affluence, but also your basic necessities and your daily diet and your gender, weight, height, and such things like that. Individuals who first open the app will be asked their affluence. If they're lowly affluent, moderately affluent, or highly affluent. After picking this will be really crucial since people who click on the highly affluent will have a different set of exercises and different set of diets to take compared to people who are moderately affluent and people who are lowly affluent. The idea is to use the app is for people to use the app, and when they use the app, if they have any problems with the app, they can contact doctors within the area to help their situation. Since no apps currently have doctors, no apps currently have an application that can lead you to a doctor who can help solve your problem. So the app will also take into consideration doctors in the area who are close to you who can help you in your problems. My experience, my original work was based off of my own ideas because I could not at the time find a mentor. And so with my mentor now I'm able to talk to him about the application and see how things are going. Luckily, my mentor thought that he was pretty nice and would like to expand on my idea. Before I talk about my mentor, I want to talk about two fields of studies two specific fields of study of cardiology that I went into: invasive cardiology and non-invasive cardiology. And invasive cardiology focuses mostly on interventional cardiology, which is patient care, patients coming into your hospital and seeing how you do. Non-interventional cardiology focuses on the research side of cardiology and doesn't really care much about the patients. My journey in ISM second semester was quite chaotic. I asked four people to be my mentor in the second semester, and I asked four people in the beginning, and unfortunately the first four all declined. The first one, Dr. Mark Kroc, I thought initially he agreed to be my mentor when I interviewed him, but after 2 weeks of thinking, he decided not to. So then I went to my second doctor, Dr. Harper, who I asked, and he agreed, but then unfortunately again declined. With my last two options, I went to Flower Mound to talk to Dr. Raul Santos, who unfortunately and also declined, and talked to Dr. Amit Kara at UT Southwestern, a non-invasive cardiologist who also declined to be my mentor. However, I did not let that put me down, and I went and went personally to my mom's friends and asked my mom's friends who were doctors and asked them if they knew anybody who could become a cardiologist, anybody who could be my mentor as a cardiologist. Fortunately, after asking one of my mom's friends, who led me to another doctor who I had to ask about a cardiologist, Dr. Vishnu Kaldindi finally agreed to be my mentor. Dr. Vishnu Kaldindi is an interventional cardiologist who works in the Physician of Frisco Heart and Vascular in near Warren. Dr. Vishnu Kaldindi is quite a nice guy, and I'm fortunate that he was able to be my mentor. I only the last Tuesday I had the opportunity to have a mentorship visit with Dr. Kaldindi, and with that 2-hour mentorship I gained a lot of valuable insight about cardiology. I met 5 patients there, and with all those 5 patients, I could see how interested Dr. Kalindi was in his search in cardiology. I could see that he deeply cared about his patients, and I was fortunate for him to allow me to talk to the patients and ask them questions myself. I found that with a great doctor allows your patients to tell other patients to come to you, which increases your the people who come to you. And my SMART goals. My SMART goals represent my long-term, life goals, and what I hope to accomplish in ISM and in my life over the years. I characterize my short goals into 3 important goals that I hope to achieve within the year. The first, the major one, is to not slack off in school. Because the moment I slack off and the moment I procrastinate is the moment I lose myself entirely. By turning my assignments and everything on time in all my classes and studying for all the tests, I can prepare myself well for the college road ahead of myself. And my second short-term goal is to accept into reputable college by May 1st. So far, I applied to many colleges, but I'm still deciding which one would be best for me. Right now, deciding on a college is crucial since this is the base. Since this is the foundation for what I hope to achieve in the long term. My last goal is to prepare well for my final presentation, FPN, final presentation night, in which I can show my success over my field of study and what I gained. My midterm goal are to volunteer an internship and or have an internship in the summer, in which I can learn more about the medical field and still keep my knowledge I gained from ISM intact. Since I don't want all the hard work and all the experience from ISM to deteriorate. My second midterm goal is to maintain a 3.8 GPA in med school, and which I can use to get into a reputable medical institute. My third midterm goal is to prepare well for my MCAT, in which I will take during my junior year of undergraduate, and with a great MCAT score, I will be able to go into a reputable university, medical university. And my final midterm goal is to attend a reputed medical school in which I can become a doctor successfully. And my long-term goals. My first long-term goal is to work at a reputable hospital and interact well with my coworkers and with my patients, since having a good connection with your patients and coworkers will be beneficial for me in the long run and in the future. My second long-term goal is to help patients who come into my hospital, since nothing's better than having a great and understanding doctor. And I can see that from my experience, my first mentorship, I experienced with Dr. Kalindi. My third long-term goal is to not forget my family and enjoy my time, since working is not everything work is not everything that should be in my mindset. And my last long-term goal is to eventually try and create an own practicing place in which I can become my own boss and lead patients and successfully help all my patients. I would like to end off with my quote. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that just don't work. This quote is reflects my ISM journey and my journey in life, since many times I'll face adversity, but as I overcome my obstacle, I will become one step closer to my own goals. During my entire time, during my journey in life, I will face many predicaments in which which will require a lot of effort to overcome, and staying positive and staying confident in myself will lead me towards my future and success. And lastly, I would like to thank my mentor, since he was able to accept me after having 4 rejections. It was quite tough. So I thank my mentor for accepting me into a mentorship program. Thank you.